Hi everybody, students of colleges, universities. For them, here is an opportunity. Macbeth is prescribed at the graduation level, at the post-graduation level, and even at school level. So, this is useful for you all. So, follow this video of mine. And now I am giving you the brief summary of Act 1 of the drama Macbeth. Act 1. The scene starts with the three witches. The three witches are waiting for Macbeth and Banquo on a blasted heath, on a lonely spot. Thunder, storm is in the air, and Macbeth and Banquo are returning after putting down the rebellion in a part of the kingdom of Scotland. And they are returning from there successfully after putting down the rebellion. They are returning. They are confronted by the three witches. Though they look like women, but they have beards, ragged skins, they look horrible. And first witch addresses Macbeth as the Thane of Glamis. Macbeth is surprised. How could she know that he was in fact the Thane of Glamis? How could she know? Then the second witch addressed him as the Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth was further surprised. How could this be? Because Thane of Cawdor was another person, he was living. And third one told him, "Thou shalt be the king of Scotland." Macbeth, surprised, knew no bounds. He could not believe his ears. How could he be the king of Scotland? Because king of Scotland was very much alive and he had two sons. Then turning to Banquo, the three witches predicted that he shall not be the king of Scotland, but his sons, grandsons, children's children would be the kings. Macbeth's imaginations were running right. He was roused, he was excited, because he could visualize, though it was nearly impossible for him to be the king of Scotland, but he was roused. The dormant ambition inside him was roused, was excited. So Banquo forewarned him, cautioned him, don't take their words at the face value. These witches predict the things which are true in small things, but when it comes to big things, you will come to disappointment and you will ruin yourself. But Macbeth was beside himself. He was overexcited. He was in fantasy. He was dreaming the things. His imaginations were running right. And soon as these three witches, weird sisters, disappeared into the thin air, and their return journey started. On the way, they were received by the two noblemen, and they broke this news that the king had decided to make Macbeth the Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth asked, "How come this? How can I be the Thane of Cawdor?" Because Thane of Cawdor was living. Then the nobleman informed him that Thane of Cawdor, because he acted against the state, he was charged with treason because he was helping the foreign army, Norwegian army, against the state of Scotland. So death sentence had been pronounced against him by the King Duncan. And his title, he would be divested from his title, and the same title would be conferred on Macbeth. So here Macbeth had every reason to be roused, to be ambitious, because the first prediction had come true already, and next one was to be the king of Scotland. And when he reached there, the king received him warmly. He praised him highly. He praised him to skies. And then he expressed his desire that he would go to Macbeth's place called Inverness, his castle. He would go there to honor him, to be close to him. And this was a big occasion. Lady Macbeth, who had already got the letter from Macbeth about his encounter with three witches, had already made up her mind that her husband would be the king of Scotland, even if it meant killing the King Duncan at his place, it would do. And all the preparations had been made there. The king, along with his train, his two sons, thegns and noblemen, reached Macbeth's place. And see, Lady Macbeth played host. She played host so nicely that king was impressed. He was all the praise for her. He expressed his thanks to her for taking so much trouble. But Lady Macbeth did not let him know what was going on in her mind. Neither Macbeth let him know what was going on in his mind. When the king, after the supper, was sleeping because he was tired of long journey, then Lady Macbeth started instigating Macbeth. She started instigating him to kill the king in his sleep. Macbeth, his moral was roused. Till now, Macbeth was ambitious, no doubt. He had inordinate ambition, overreaching ambition. But in order to achieve his ambition, he was not ready to shed blood, innocent blood. And he defended his action that he should not kill the king in his bed, because king was his king and his kinsman. King was his cousin. Plus, he was playing host to King Duncan, and it was his duty to defend his life, to save his life, to protect his life against other murderers, not to hold the sword himself, not to hold the knife against him himself. But Lady Macbeth told him, Macbeth, when you wrote the letter to me, what were you? And what you are now? At that time, you expressed your great desire that you wanted to be the king of Scotland. Show the same bravery, same courage in executing your plan. Because here, by adopting fair means, you can't become the king of Scotland. You have to adopt unfair means. You have to kill the King Duncan. In order to excite him, in order to instigate him, she told him, she gave an example that if she were a mother and her child had been suckling the milk from her breast, she would take her nipple out of his toothless gum and dash his brains on the floor if she had promised to him that she would do so. And here Macbeth, he was growing weak. He is developing cold feet to kill the king. How could he dream of becoming the king? He had desires, she knew, she told him. He had desired to become the king, but he wanted to be the king by fair means, which was impossible. And she prayed even, before that she prayed even to evil forces to unsex her, because she knew that she was a woman. Had she not been a woman, she would have done the bloody act. She would have committed the murder. But she was a woman, and she wanted that the milk in her breast should be replaced by poison, by gall. And finally, Macbeth's mind is turned, and he decides to kill the king. And in this way, she gets him ready for this bloody act. This was Act 1, students. I think you have some vague idea, some general idea about this, about the brief summary of this act. I will teach you in detail. I will go textual. I will explain line by line, everything in clear, because you have abstract questions, you have explanation questions. So I will do all that. Keep revising the things. More classes are coming up for Macbeth. Keep smiling, keep revising. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, all of you, and tell your friends as well. And if you have any problems with the way I have explained the things, write in the comment section. Have a nice day. Keep smiling.